Fools, and welcome back to another Formula Fools podcast. I'm your host. I'm David, your guide through the twists and turns, and with me is Skin.
Yep.
I didn't have time to write an intro for you this week, Skin.
Oh, bugger.
Yeah, we're in a rush, so.
I always look forward to them.
Yeah. Well, we'll do that next week. From pit lane antics to racing riddles, we're here to make you laugh and question your sanity. Sit back, buckle up. It's time for Formula Fools. Favorite part of every week's podcast.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Isn't that the sound you said wasn't even an F1 car?
Yeah, it's like a drag car or something.
Okay.
Do you want the F1 car? You enjoy that?
Nope.
Okay. Anyway, this week we're going to talk about red flags. We're going to talk about flags, racing flags.
Yeah, flags.
Formula One's flags.
Yep.
You've got a bunch of questions.
In general. Yeah, sort of. Well, I feel like I'm getting more comfortable with like red, yellow, green.
Yeah, they're your basics.
Yep. You see them often enough. Mm-hmm. Saw a few yellow flags on the weekend watching the Chinese race. Quite
a lot of yellow flags.
Quite a lot.
Williams didn't cause any for once.
There was a red flag. Was it the race before?
The sprint? Oh, no. In Japan?
In Japan, when there was an early red flag, wasn't there, when Danny Rick retired?
Oh, yeah.
One?
Yeah, that was Williams. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thanks for digging the knife back in.
Apologies. Okay. You'd gotten over that, I guess. Okay. So I've seen a couple of those suckers, but yeah, it came to my attention. There's a bunch of flags in
there's a
F1
lot
that I know nothing about.
Yeah.
So could you, maybe start, for anyone who's even newer than me, maybe start with a bit of a quick rundown on what red, yellow, green are, but then tell us about all these other ones.
Yeah, so green flag is usually the first flag you'll see if you just watch the race. When they're all lined up on the grid, you'll see a man at the back just waving the green flag.
Okay.
That just signals track's clear, everything's safe. You can go. But then green flags during a session, like a race, qualifying, free practice, just means the track is now cleared of any danger. So you'll hear commentators say, and we go green again after a yellow flag. So it means whatever the danger was on track is now cleared and we're sorted. So full speed racing can continue. Yellow flag is danger ahead or something on track. So the drivers need to, when they see the yellow flag, they need to show that they've lifted off the throttle and they're prepared to stop. So usually you have to sacrifice your lap time significantly to kind of show to the stewards that you are preparing yourself to stop. So like George Russell's crash, for example, when Lance Stroll was approaching that area, like that zone, he would have seen the yellow flags. It would have flashed up on his steering wheel. He would have had to slow down and be prepared to stop for that one.
Okay.
And what was the other one? Red flag?
The other one is red flag, but sorry, before we get there, with yellows, isn't there a difference? Isn't there a single waved yellow flag and a two waved yellow flag? Does that matter? Yeah,
it just signifies the severity of the accident ahead. So a single waved yellow, usually we'll see that if like there's a bit of carbon fiber on the track or something like that. Like Guan Yu Zhou towards the end of the race in China, you know, when he like pulled out the back of who was it? Was it a Williams? No, it was a Haas. I think it was K-Mag. He like pulled out the back, clipped his rear wing on the tire, and that kind of flew into the middle of the track.
Yeah.
They could have dropped the yellow flag there to send a marshal out to pick it up and retrieve it. That would have been single waved because it would have been quickly fixed.
Sure.
But George Russell's incident would have been double yellows immediately because it's a more serious crash.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just on the severity of what's coming up for the driver.
Okay.
Yep. And then red flag is stop the race. Like everyone must slow down and then drive back around to the pits and line up in the order of the grid. Doesn't always happen. We've had some red flags where the red flag drops and let's say like 15th place is coming around to the pits. So he'll go in first and he'll be at the front. So then they just kind of swap them around or send them out for an outlap first, or they kind of just, the FIA will figure that out themselves. But it's fairly rare that happens, to be honest.
Right. Okay. All right. No worries. Very good. And then all the other flags.
Yeah, then all the other flags we've got. So firstly, blue flags. Very controversial subject in Formula One over the past few years. People are saying that we shouldn't have blue flags, but personally I think they're great, especially on tracks like the Red Bull Ring, Suzuka that we saw the other week. Monza is probably another great one for it in Italy. Blue flag just means there's a car behind you trying to overtake. Usually it is you're the car being lapped, and that is a race leader or someone ahead of you in the race. So Max Verstappen starts to lap the Williams cars. The Williams cars are going to get a blue flag to say race leaders behind you, get out of the way.
Okay.
We also see it in qualifying sessions, usually when a car is coming out the pit lane and there's another car that is just starting their lap. They'll just wave the blue flag for that car to say, hey, there's a fast car that is about to start a lap, stay out of the way. So that's all a blue flag is.
Okay, sure. So, I understand in qualifying conditions, it's pretty normal. Like if you're just not doing a fast lap, not going for qualification and someone's gassing it past you, that seems obvious.
Mm-hmm.
In race conditions, where does the blue flag actually appear? Are people literally standing all around the track waving these suckers, or is it literally just popping up on their steering wheel?
It'll be both. So there's the screens that you see that like flash the flags all the time. So they'll flash. They're a little bit more difficult. They're getting better at it, but yeah, there's been some instances where race leaders have seen the blue flags on that and it's just not been as accurate. But yeah, there's marshal posts all around the tracks. And so wherever you see the flags at any of the marshal posts, I think in Monza, there's something like 20 marshal posts. Usually you'll have them like before and after a corner. And then if there's a really long straight, you might have one like halfway down the main straight. And then also like where the start finish line is, there'll also be flags there. Mm-hmm. So yes, wherever there's a marshal's post, they'll use these.
Okay. Follow-up question. Why would people be against blue flags?
Yeah, great question. I don't fucking know.
Okay.
Because people are just saying, oh, if Max wants to get past, he should just get past. Yeah, great. But also like Max was in Brazil in like 2018, 2019 or something. Max was overtaking Esteban Ocon. Max had overtaken Esteban Ocon as Ocon was coming out the pits.
Yeah.
Ocon had pitted to go on soft tires to try and get the fastest lap of the race or something like that, or he was just on a really shit strategy. Max was winning the race, and in this point in his career, I think it would have been his first race win or like one of the first, so like it was very big for him. And Ocon, now on the faster tires, has said to his team, can I unlap myself and overtake Max? Because he was going faster than Max. Now he had fresh tires. Unlapped himself and then hit Max. And Max lost the race. So like in that instance, he overtook him and then Max was coming back. He didn't respect blue flags, drama. Max didn't win the race. So like that's why we should have blue flags. But that was one of the big ones that caused a lot of the debate around like people saying we shouldn't, but whatever. But 100% we should have blue flags. It's just safe. It just makes racing safer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Agreed.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Other flags we've got black and white is a pre-warning to say like you have gone off the track and gained an advantage, or you're driving like a bell end and you need to just calm down. You get 3 of them, and after the third, you can then get a time penalty or you can receive a black flag. So a black flag is disqualification. You need to pull into the pits. You've been disqualified from the race. We very rarely see this. It has happened a few times, but it's fairly rare that we'll see someone actually get black flagged during a race, because the teams are all over the black and white flags. So they'll say to them, hey, this is your second black and white flag. Don't get any more.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
So black and white flags, like the warnings, they're fairly common? Yeah.
Again, especially tracks like the Red Bull Ring in Austria. Everyone will go off at turn 9 at the Red Bull Ring in qualifying and during the race. So like going off and getting an advantage it's unsportsmanlike conduct. So you get a black and white flag for each time you do that. So you get 3 and then you're disqualified. So yeah, it's kind of a bit of a shit one during the race there, because everyone's constantly getting black and white flags and it's flashing up at the top of the screen.
Okay. All right. And so they're completely separate to the penalties that you would also get for that.
Yeah.
If you go off the track and get an advantage, you'd also get a 5-second penalty or something, wouldn't you?
So it depends. If you're just doing it, if you're racing on your own or you're in qualifying and you're going off the track and getting an advantage, you've not gained a position in that case. So they'll give you warnings before they give you a penalty. So usually you get 3 warnings, then you'll get a penalty.
Okay.
Whereas if you are overtaking someone and you overtake them by going off the track and getting an advantage, you've then gained that position. And if you don't give that position back, like I think Oscar did a few races ago, if you don't give that back, then you'll get a 5-second penalty, or probably a 10-second penalty this year. You'll get a time penalty for doing that.
Okay.
Because it's a bit more like directly related, like with the race result.
Okay.
So yeah. After that, we've got black and orange. It's like a black flag with an orange circle in the middle. Again, very rare you will see it. Usually you see this on the main straight on one of the electric billboard things that flash up. This means that there's something wrong with your car. You need to go into the pits and fix it. So it could be a bit of like carbon fibers dangling off the front wing, or there's, half your rear wings dangling off or whatever. Again, super rare that we see it. Usually you'll see this in like a qualifying session, maybe a free practice session. Like free practice sessions, if you know how they put like them aero rake things on to test the aerodynamic airflow.
Oh yeah,
we saw it in like preseason. Yeah. If that isn't attached right, and the stewards can see it from the cameras, then they'll drop this flag, and you'll have to go in, repair the car, and then send it back out, kind of thing.
Okay.
So it's super common in them kind of places. We barely ever see it during the race.
Okay. Are they just so rare during the race because if something's wrong with your car, the team's more likely to find it before the stewards do, I assume?
Yeah, like Daniel Ricciardo in this weekend's race, like he had parts probably hanging off the back of his diffuser and stuff. He lost significant amount of downforce, which then led to him retiring the car. Like the stewards didn't need to black and orange flag him. The team pulled him in at the point of them probably discovering it. So yeah, in a race, you're going to see dramatic loss of speed. So your team will pull you in first to fix the issue because they don't want you to be slow.
Okay.
We have seen it though with like the front wing end plates, kind of like they get knocked loose and they'll dangle off kind of thing. Sometimes they'll get that flag during a race for that because drivers will just carry on with it kind of flapping there. Not so much with the new front wings, but definitely like 5 years ago, we would see that fairly often.
Okay.
Yeah. After that, we've got a yellow and red striped flag. It just means something is wrong with the track or something is on the track. So this could be an oil spill. It could be an animal walking across the track. It could be a bit of carbon fiber there. Just something on the track.
An animal walking across the track?
Yeah.
You've seen that?
Oh, mate, heaps. We've had dogs run across tracks. In Canada, there's always like groundhogs and stuff that go onto the track. Yeah. We've had kangaroos in Australia. Not always, but like at least once a season, I'd say.
Really?
Yeah.
You see an animal cruising across the track once a season?
We get like big lizards and stuff will go onto the track. Yeah. We've had a few dogs. We've had like a good few dogs. You know how they bring the little names up as well on the live broadcast where it's like color signs?
Yeah.
They brought a name card up that was like, I can't, maybe it was like Bahrain or something. It was like the Bahrain dog or something. And they're just filming it running down the back straight.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Whose dog was it?
I don't know. It's a wild dog, I guess. I have no clue. But yeah, we get that fairly regular.
I understand. They have such high security. It seemed almost impossible to get onto the track, and dogs have worked it out.
Yeah, exactly. When we were in Australia, how difficult was it to get anywhere around that track, and yet dogs are getting onto the in Bahrain? Yeah. Jeez, we need to go to Bahrain and just dress up as dogs.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
I got Lee with that one as well.
That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Business expense when you think about it as well.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
Chuck it straight on the card. The last one I've got written down here is a white flag. That just means there's a slow car on track ahead of you. Again, usually in qualifying, if you've gone out on an outlap and you're going real slow, there's a fast car coming up behind, they'll wave a white flag to say there's a slow car. You're approaching a slow car.
Right. Okay. Wait, so they'd wave a blue flag at the slow car and a white flag at the fast car?
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually?
Yeah.
Does that actually happen?
Yeah, all the time. Oh. In qualifying and free practice, mainly, you barely ever see a white flag in the race. But yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, slow moving car on the track.
Right. Okay.
It's also a funny one because there's a trend going on social media where they're asking junior drivers in like junior formulas or junior GT racing or sports car racing. And they're saying like they're going around like, oh, what does a white flag mean? And barely any of them know what it means. I don't know if it's just not used in the junior formulas, but a lot of people don't know what it means. The only reason I know what it means is because of this trend going around. And also I looked it up about 5 minutes before we started the episode.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, nice. And so have you ever seen, or I assume you've seen these flags lots of times, are there any really sort of famous or unusual circumstances that they've been used? I know I said we've already seen a red flag this season a couple of races ago, but it seems like they're often when there's a big crash or something like that, you sort of stop the race. Have they ever been used for anything else? Yes. Drivers will use yellow flags to their advantage all the time. The most famous one that I'll play you in a second, 2014, Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton, both in Mercedes. The rivalry was just like really getting started between these two. Mm-hmm. And Nico used
a double waved yellow flag in the most horrific way so that he would get pole position in Monaco. Pole position in Monaco basically means you've won the race because it's really hard to overtake. I'll show you the clip and then we can chat about it afterwards.
Early on the power drops there. Let's see what this first sector gives us. It's marginally slower.
He's gone straight on, and he's going to run out of time.
So do you understand what he's doing there?
No, not at all.
Okay, so Nico wanted to get the fastest lap, and as you'll see, he just set a faster lap. Lewis was less than a tenth off of him. Lewis and Nico both went out on fresh soft tyres to do their last timed lap in Q3, and Lewis was probably going to beat him. Lewis went out second, so whoever goes out last, like track's going to ramp up. So Lewis was most likely going to do a faster lap than Nico. So what Nico has done is changed his line into that corner. So usually on that straight, they'll go right over the bump, back left, and then brake and turn right. What he's done is he's gone right and then into the middle of the track and then shook his wheel like this, locked his brakes up, and then turned into the slip road. The problem with these slip roads in Monaco is you can't just easily get out of them. So it forces the marshals to drop a yellow flag, meaning, as we know about yellow flags, you've got to slow down, come off the throttle and indicate, like show the stewards you're prepared to stop. So Lewis was the next car on track. So Lewis has got to that corner. There's a yellow flag. He has had to lift off the throttle.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Lewis's radio message straight after that was, "Oh, he's so smart," or something like that, because like Lewis straight away knew he's done that so that he would keep the pole lap. Nico's got out of the car. He celebrated like he's won the race away. It's piggish.
Okay.
But yeah, drivers will do things like this on tracks like that to be able to just gain that qualifying position.
Okay.
Very rarely would see this in the race. Well, you wouldn't because you'd ruin your race. But like in qualifying, we'll see this fairly often.
Yeah, right. There you go.
No. Okay, that's probably not fairly often, but we'll see it from time to time when the rivalries are hot.
Okay. That makes sense. Well, yeah, I mean, that's the most recent example you can find, I assume. And it's that bloke doesn't drive anymore, so it can't be that common.
Yeah, I can think of a couple that are probably more recent, but this is just the most famous.
Okay, gotcha.
We're now going to move on to Hot Lap Recap with Ryan Smith and Skin. Last week we mentioned no jingles.
Oh, God.
Race is over. It's that time in the show for the hot lap recap. Let's go. The race is over. It's that time in the show for the hot lap recap. Let's go.
Fuck.
Yeah. He sent me a second one, which I've not heard yet. So you can choose which one stays. This is the second one.
The race is over. It's that time in the show for the hot lap recap. Let's go. The race is over. It's that time in the show for the hot lap recap. Let's go.
That was the same, wasn't it?
Very similar.
Just slightly shorter.
Yeah, slightly shorter.
Yeah, so which one do you
Missed a bit at
prefer?
the front.
Probably the longer
Probably
one.
the shorter one.
Yeah, longer one. I agree. Stick with the longer one, I reckon.
Oh, God. Why do you do this to me?
Well, he heard
that was impressive, though. What does this guy do for work? How does he put that together?
Well, I was like, where did you make that? And he was like, oh, I'm just good. And then like 20 minutes later, he was like, oh, it's an AI software. You can like put your lyrics in and then it'll make the song for you. And I was like, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's good. But yeah, so Ryan made them just because he knew you were sad that we didn't have any jingles. Yeah. There you go.
Thanks,
anyway, hot lap recap with Ryan. I can't remember what the qualifying lap was this week. Was it a 131, 132?
Why would I know?
I don't know, Skin. You should. It was something around that, something around the 130 second mark, obviously set by Max Verstappen. So Ryan's going to attempt to round up what happened over the weekend in that time. He's going to struggle because it was sprint weekend.
Welcome back to the Hot Lap Recap, where I, Ryan, dissect the Formula One drama with the precision of an 80s high school kid dissecting a frog. In other words, it's going to be messy. So here we are, 20 years after the inaugural race at the $450 million Shanghai International Circuit. Now, Dave, 20 years ago, mate, that's 2004, yeah? Just thought I'd help you with those tricky numbers. And the race was won by, back then, anyone? Yes, that's right, one of the nicest men in Formula One history, Rubens Barrichello, and he did it driving a Ferrari. Now, before I hit the Hot Lap recap, Skin mentioned this in the last podcast that I appeared in.
So yeah, what do you reckon? Good sum up?
Yeah, no, very impressive. I feel like he should probably take our jobs really and speak for a bit longer every episode. But
Yeah, well.
no.
I mean, he also mentioned off air just how much more handsome I am than you as well, David. But you know, there's no need to split hairs. So, Mr. Skin, I thought before I start my hot lap recap, I'd tell you a little snippet about my Formula One history. Similar to Dave, you know, born and raised a Williams boy with a sneaky side eye on McLaren, but Damon Hill and Jacques Villeneuve, they were easily my early inspiration. But, you know, my allegiances started to shift when the buzzing hornets of Team Jordan came along. And all of a sudden, everything in my room turned bright yellow to match their livery. And in the recent years, I was a huge BAR Honda fan, Braun GP, and of course, the ever-present McLarens. And that's my team now, McLaren all the way, but still with a little soft spot for Williams. So, you know, I think it means that I fit in quite well with you fools, doesn't it? Anyway, enough of that. Let's get on with a hot lap recap, shall we? So, Verstappen's fastest lap of 1 minute 33.660 is what we're aiming for. So let's get going. Max won again, but for the first time in China. Is anyone even attempting to rewrite the script this season? I mean, I suppose Hamilton did come second in the sprint race, but that is to be expected, isn't it, Skin, from an 8-time world champion? Now, the race had 2 safety cars thrown in for good measure, which shuffled the pack faster than Lance Stroll takes his eye off the car in front of him. Yes, I know I'm bashing Lance Stroll again, but come on, guys, it's just so bloody easy. Anyway, the safety car caused Perez to drop behind Lando Norris and the ever-strategic Charles Leclerc. Now, Perez, who was initially overtaken by Alonso in a superb off-the-racing line manoeuvre, managed to overtake Leclerc, but not Norris. I mean, even Lando was surprised by the result, openly admitting that he'd expected to finish behind the Ferraris. Now, it was then a scramble after the second safety car went in on lap 27. Leclerc and Norris switched to a one-stop strategy, and Perez could smell another 1-2 podium finish, aiming for Lando, but Norris was having none of it. And in the midst of all of this, Alonso put on a show. After a late pit stop for fresh tyres, he sliced through the field and made a terrific save as well, coming into the last corner, showing a level of control that his teammate will only ever have wet dreams about. His recovery drive was pretty miraculous, considering he was doing more sliding around in the latter stages than a dog trying to run on laminate flooring. And then there was Lewis Hamilton, who seemed to be on a leisurely Sunday drive yet again, only to wake up and finish into the bloody points, proving you can never count him out, no matter how many times Dave insists you can. Stop the clock! Whew, breathe. There you go, folks. Verstappen's maiden Chinese win, Norris's driver of the day second place, safety car chaos, and a 10th place for Haas, and a 12th for Williams. Still no points, though. The Chinese Grand Prix, more twists and turns, highs and lows than an undulating mountain. That's a wrap on today's Hot Lap Recap. Join me, Ryan, next time in Miami for some more high-octane tales from the F1 circus. Back to you in the studio.
Bang.
That was thorough.
Yeah, that was very detailed.
It was good.
Firstly, I reckon that beginning bit was his job application to move to Australia and take up both of our jobs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the video that goes along with it is also very impressive. He doesn't necessarily need to move to Australia to produce quality content, apparently. So good on him.
Yeah, true. He probably just wants
the neon sign in the background. How's he done that?
Again, that was fake.
I know.
Yeah.
But it looked good.
Have you ever been on Zoom?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can achieve that on Zoom.
Yeah, but okay. Yeah, sure.
Come on, Skin.
Zoom's fake backgrounds are dust.
Yeah, well.
That looks nice.
Ryan's fake backgrounds aren't dust.
Nah, he's got like a good green screen or something.
Yeah. Oh, he's definitely got a green screen.
Yeah.
100%. Anyway, on to the racing. Firstly, I wrote down the Lance Stroll Danny Rick. I want to just spearhead this from the beginning.
Okay, please do.
Because I feel like you almost booted me in the face yesterday or Monday when we had a chat about this. Because I was defending Stroll a little bit.
Yeah. The tables turned a bit because I swear earlier in the season you were going hard on Stroll and I was pro Stroll and I was you can't attack this guy. But I couldn't understand how you possibly were trying to find a defense for him the other day. But
so the reason why I was trying to defend him is because we've seen drivers go into the back of other people like this. Definitely not as bad as this, but like we've seen it happen before. And that back straight in China is a bastard when you're on a restart. So I just wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, say that penalty might have been a bit harsh, blah, blah, blah. But also, can I just add that my main gripe was not with Stroll, but it was with Danny Rick's reaction.
Okay.
I don't think he should be reacting in that way as a sportsman, and I still stand by that one. I think everything's just getting to him and he needs to chill out.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm always pro chilling out, but
yeah. You're the captain of chill. But then the actual like incident with Stroll, I've fully 360'd. I listened to what Danny Rick said when he said he looked at the footage and he wasn't even looking at the corner. Rewatched the footage. He wasn't even looking at him. He was looking at the corner. Yeah. Rewatched the footage. That's true. He was not watching the car ahead of him and then went into the back of him.
Yeah.
And then a follower of the Fools sent me a video. He didn't even know that I was like backing up Stroll at this point, but he sent me a video that I had completely forgotten about. I can't remember what year this was, but this is Lance Stroll in a Williams and Sebastian Vettel in a Ferrari.
Is that possible? Stroll is not looking where he's going. He completely shunted into my car. I mean, seriously.
Vettel just ran right into the side of me.
So that's Seb, that's Stroll. And the worst bit about this was after the race. So the race had finished. They were driving back around to the pits, going slow, and Stroll drove into the side of Seb.
What in the world?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lunacy. So I had completely forgotten about this. And so with him not looking at Danny Rick and looking at the corner for this one and also doing that, Stroll is, in fact, a P-Yog.
It just seems so bizarre to me. I don't even understand. What do you mean the back straight at China is so difficult or something? Like, nothing looked difficult about it. You watch the onboard and it's like, he's got like hundreds of meters to work with,
Maybe
and there's
hundreds.
like slow cars ahead of him, and he's just like do.
Bang.
It just seems so bizarre.
But it's more that because you've got the hairpin and then you've got the final turn is so close, them front runners are always going to back you up between them two corners. So if you're like the bottom 10s or lower, you're going to get bunched up into that hairpin. It always gets a bit tight and a bit dicey. So like drivers are always like trying to get as close as possible. Like look at how close Danny was to the McLaren ahead. I can't remember if it was Norris or Piastri. Yeah. Like he was so close before they hit.
Yeah.
And it was like,
but that was my point. There's like 4 cars in front of Stroll that are all like on each other's asses, like millimeters away, and no one else hits anyone else.
And this is also
just drive straight through all of them.
This is also where I like my decision change has come from, because if it was a little tap, then I would still be defending Stroll, but it wasn't a little tap. It was a very big tap in the bum for Danny Rick.
Okay.
So yeah, dust.
All right, well, I'm glad we can agree.
Also, that led to Danny Rick retiring from the race, and just sucks. Piles onto all of the pressure that he's already got on his shoulders, and he definitely didn't need that. He needed to finish. He was going well, like he was. Where was he? 10th or 9th or something? Like he was in the points
somewhere.
Yeah, like he was going well, and then
a crack.
Yeah, it just that sucks for Danny. But I also just think that post race interview, I've already said it. He needs to chill. Like. Saying things like that about other people on camera, like he knew what he was doing. He knew where he was. He just needs to calm down. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. That is fair.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was just staggered by Stroll saying like, I couldn't believe this guy braked in front of me. What an idiot! Like,
yeah, that was stupid.
That's kind of what everyone's doing. And I'm like, and he was like, I had nowhere to go. What do you want me to do? Like, you just had to brake like the same way everyone else did. And so like, I don't know. He tried to put the blame on Daniel Ricciardo, which I thought was dust. And then he just never took responsibility for it either. Like even after the race in his interview, he's just like, oh, there was just nothing I could have possibly done.
He took the blame.
You could have put your foot on the brake
harder. He took the blame off Danny Rick and then said, oh, it was probably just someone ahead of him braking.
Yeah.
So like he never took the blame.
Yeah, it probably was.
Passed
like,
it
see
on
how
to
everyone ahead of you braked.
Did you see Oscar's comments on it? Oscar tweeted out or something like, Or he said in an interview replying to Stroll's comment about people breaking ahead of him, he was like, yeah, we all braked and no one hit each other or something like that. Like he was proper off it.
Yeah. So
that was in the race. Anyway. We also had, as Ryan mentioned, Lando P2, insane strategy, was on the ball all weekend, really, like very quick.
With the exception of the start of the sprint.
With the exception of the start of the sprint, yeah. He humdog millionaired it there.
Slightly off the ball there.
Yeah, from 1st to 7th in one corner. Go Lando. But in the race, P2, insane strategy from McLaren. Again, your team. Yeah,
I mean, they're geniuses. Yeah. That's why I've been following them for years, obviously.
That's it, yeah.
No, what? Why? What do you mean insane strategy? Didn't quite a few people jump to a one-stop strategy?
No, but there was only a couple that stayed out before that first safety car. No one jumped to a one-stop strategy. They were one-stopping after the second safety car. There was only a few that one-stopped, fully one-stopped.
Oh. Wait.
Did Lando one-stop? Did he not stop under the first safety car and then under the second?
I don't know. You could be right. But
I can't remember.
For a very long time, Lando
there was only
he stayed out a lot longer.
Yeah, but there was only Lando and Leclerc that stayed out.
Okay.
It was only them two.
Okay.
That stayed out on track. Everyone else pitted.
Okay.
And they stayed out.
And then he just managed to defend that spot.
Yeah. Well, and also just pip Checo. Like Christian Horner came out and said that the safety car ruined Checo's race. So like, if that ruined Checo's race, that's just because they hummed that strategy and put Checo in the wrong place at the wrong time because Checo was well ahead of Lando.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Lando pipped him under them safety cars. So genius.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, Red Bull. Red Bull did a pit stop that was phenomenal.
Oh.
They did 2 pit stops that was phenomenal, but they did it within 1 pit stop.
Yes.
Do you remember the Mercedes double stack that I showed you from China 2019?
Yeah, it was like literally last week or the week before or something, and it blew my mind.
Yeah.
And then
they went
pretty much saw the same thing, if not better, live on the weekend.
Well, it was better. 1 pit stop was 2.1 seconds. The other one was 2 seconds.
Yeah. Somehow the second one was the faster one.
The fastest one, yeah.
I would have thought you'd be getting worse.
It was insane.
Yeah.
But also, Red Bull doing these pit stops, because I think later in the race, they also did a 1.9 and a 2.1 again. So like unreal. After this weekend, Red Bull have 9 of the top 10 fastest pit stops for this season. Ferrari are 10th, but Red Bull have the top 9.
Crossed.
What? Like how? How is that possible?
I guess they're quite good at what they do.
Yeah.
They're also quite good at the making cars aspect of it. They're also quite good at the driving cars aspect.
Well, Max is.
Yeah. They're
Checo not so much.
Okay.
20 seconds behind his teammate, something like that.
Okay.
That Holmes.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, that pit stop, insane. Hamilton, skin.
Yep.
Now, Ryan gave Hamilton some credit there. I don't think Hamilton deserves any credit.
You don't think he deserves any credit?
Zero credit.
He started at P18.
Yep.
And finished at P9.
Yeah, only P9.
And
he's
P9.
Lewis Hamilton.
Only P9.
Yep.
He gained 9 spots.
That's piggish. He should have been top 5, top 6.
Dave, when you speak to me about any other driver, you make it sound like gaining 3 spots from where you start is like
but it's all circumstantial.
If you start at P5 and you finish second, mate, you're a bloody driver of the day. You got my vote. But if you gain 9 positions and you happen to be the guy I don't like.
No. If Max started P19 and finished anything better than P3, anything worse than P3, I'd be annoyed at him because that's piggish. But Lewis, circumstantial. If Lando is starting P4 and finishes in P2, that's amazing because he's either got to pass a Mercedes or a Ferrari to get there. Yeah?
Sure.
They're fast cars. Lewis was battling against Haas's, Alpines, Saubers, Williams.
Okay.
And he took fucking ages to get from P19 to anywhere.
Okay.
Also, it was P18, and on the first lap, he lost out and went P19. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. Sure.
He hummed. But anyway, the reason I'm bringing Hamilton up, and the reason I don't think he deserves any kind of fucking credit this year, George Russell also finishing P6. Pretty decent job from George.
Yeah. Where did he start?
I don't know, P8, P9.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he didn't get 9 spots.
Yeah, but he didn't have to if he had fucking
Have we
Williams,
been watching
Saubers,
the same season? You understand Mercedes don't have the fastest car anymore, right?
I don't care. He's a 7-time world champion.
Yeah, but
is supposedly the best overtaker in our sport.
You're a
and he
hypocrite.
couldn't overtake.
You also told me that Alex Albon's a great driver and he's just in a shit car. Apparently the cars makes all the difference.
Yeah.
And you think, I mean, he should just be able to get a slow car.
But he's still got the third fastest car.
He's
still got the third fastest car. Third fastest car couldn't overtake a Sauber, a Haas, or a Williams that quickly.
Right.
Definitely the third fastest car.
Definitely.
What's the championship?
Car, you reckon? That's
I'm getting it up. Fourth fastest car.
Definitely the third fastest car.
Well, you know what you could do?
Car.
If you just hide the McLaren bit, then that says Mercedes.
Yeah.
Fourth fastest car.
That's not how that works.
But also, do you see how Mercedes have 52 points? Williams, Alpine, and Kick Sauber have 0. And he was still struggling to get past them.
I do see that, yes.
That's what's piggish.
Okay.
And also what's piggish is George Russell is just cracking on and getting on with the job and just driving the car as best as he can drive it. Whereas Lewis is coming out with radio messages like, I can't even catch him. Mate, this car is so slow.
Yeah, no, that was getting piggish. And because on the Saturday watching the sprint,
I
was thinking, man, I love this Lewis Hamilton guy. I'm all about him. I'm going to go tell Dave, and Dave's going to hate me with a passion, and it's going to be hilarious. Because it was good. He started, he P2 or something, finished P2, he defended, he drove fine, everything was nice.
And this is exactly why I'm saying he did shit on the Sunday.
Yeah. And then
how do you do that on a Saturday?
Yeah, I don't know.
In a 20-lap race, 19-lap race, whatever it was, and then you are struggling to overtake people on a Sunday?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I was surprised by that.
Exactly.
Then, on the Saturday night, I was like, wow, I really like this guy. What a man. And then on the Sunday, I was like, every few laps, he's complaining about something.
Literally. And this is my point, is like, he drove so well on Saturday. It was watching him, it was like, this is like Lewis. And even in the sprint qualifying in the rain, it was like Lewis is back. Like he's got his mojo. I think Nico on commentary said during the sprint qualifying, like this is prime Lewis Hamilton. He's in the rain, he's dominating, amazing. And then cut to the Sunday race, dog shit. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So many people are giving him credit for what he did on Sunday when actually he was better on Saturday. He even said after the main qualifying on Saturday, the setup changes he made to the car made it worse.
Oh, okay. At least he's taking some responsibility then.
Yeah, but then he gets in the car and just complains it's slow. One of his excuses in Bahrain for being slow was that the setup was wrong on his car. He had all weekend. He had practice sessions. He had preseason testing at Bahrain, yet he still got his setup wrong. It's your fault, Lewis. You're slow. Saudi Arabia, he said that the bouncing had returned to the car, yet George was not experiencing any of that.
Well, they're not in the same car.
But it's basically the same car skin.
Sure.
If one car's got porpoising, the other car has got porpoising.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's just coming up with another excuse. Australia. He said it was the least confident he had ever felt in a race car.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says stuff.
Yeah, he blames the car quite a lot. Okay. Japan. He said he couldn't turn the car in Japan.
Did he have the steering wheel attached?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm going to assume so. And then in China, one of his biggest complaints over the weekend was that he never had so much understeer in his life.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Lewis is he loves to complain about everything else apart from his driving.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. I love watching you get riled up about him, so I think I'm going to start following Lewis.
I fucking hate his skin. Okay. Last thing we're going to talk about from the Chinese Grand Prix. Fernando Alonso. Ryan mentioned it at the end there. He had one of the greatest saves I've ever seen in an F1 car.
Yeah,
I've got the video for you here, Skin. So yeah, what do you reckon to that?
Yeah, no, that was awesome. Like watching that live, that was sick. I don't know. I've obviously haven't watched enough F1, so I don't it's not like I've seen that happen hundreds of times and every time they've crashed. So I don't know if I fully appreciate it. But even live, it was like,
did you see
it just looked too easy? Like it was just like straight back.
Especially from when you look at it from the wide camera, from the off-board camera, like it looked so. Yeah, it genuinely just looked like he lost the rear end and just corrected it and carried straight on, and then I think he passed George into the next turn or the following turn or something.
Yeah. Just watching it back, I'm just like, I just feel like that should be harder than what you made it look. It was very impressive.
It was unreal. But at that exact corner, I think it was sprint qualifying. Sainz did the exact same thing and ended up in the wall.
Yeah.
And almost wrote the car off. So yeah, Fernando saving that was so impressive, especially at the speeds that they're going and the fact that we were towards the end of the race. So and he's on soft, so tyres are like probably starting to drop off for him there. So even more impressive because he's not like on his fastest lap with high performance grip.
Yeah.
Go Fernando.
No, he was awesome to watch on the weekend because I don't know, he sort of had that dusty strategy where he had to pit an extra time more than everyone else, which was unfortunate. But then after his pits, he however far back he dropped, like watching him just cruise
through
past people, like just overtook everyone so easily.
Yeah, it was bang
impressive.
On. It was prime Fernando. He's always doing. If you can rely on Fernando to do anything, it's that exact kind of gear.
Okay.
Something else that was brought up over the weekend was that all of the teams are going to be having a big meeting with the FIA and with the Formula One owners and organisers about a new point system to be proposed and to be put forward for next season.
Okay.
If not 26th season. And this will send points all the way down to 12th position. So currently we've got 25, 18, 15, 12, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1, down to 10th. So that's first through 10th. They're proposing from 5th position, it will go 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, down to 12th position. If that makes sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, the graphic will be on the screen.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the proposal for us to have more points allocation down the field.
Cool.
What do you reckon?
I like it. I mean, I don't see any problem with it. I don't see why you would not do it. I can't imagine it creating huge issues.
No.
And if anything, it should just make the sort of battles toward the back of the grid.
Yeah.
Which are currently pretty much the most interesting thing happening anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Because nothing exciting happens at the top of the grid. Like it should just make them even more exciting, right? Mm-hmm. If you're like those cars that are overtaking and sort of battling for fucking 17th spot actually have something to fight for, I suppose. It's like further back there.
Well, like your brother Lee watched the Chinese race with us, and he said he asked the question of how do they find out all of those people that don't have points? How do they determine where they sit in the championship? And that is from a new person coming to F1. That is the most confusing part because you can have like 6 drivers with 0 points, and yet every week they'll change positions. I think at the moment it's worked out
based on where they poll and stuff, is it?
Yeah, it's just where your last race result was or how many times you've finished. So it's kind of like an invisible point system down there. I don't really know, to be honest, but I love that they're talking about going down to 12th position. I'd personally love them to go down to 20th.
Well, yeah,
I'd love everyone on the grid.
I don't understand. Like it seems almost not a big enough change. I don't understand why they wouldn't give points all the way down.
Yeah, I don't get it. Because especially like and I think I'm going to assume that Williams and Sauber and Alpine and probably Haas are all going to argue for it to be bigger than this proposal, because the reason Andretti hasn't got on the F1 grid is that mainly Williams and James Vowles, our team principal, has said they don't want to share the prize money at the end of the year with another team. Well, if we had points all the way down and you were finishing 13th, 14th every single race for Williams, you're going to beat all them people that are below you. So then you're going to get them higher positions. Yeah. So it's not just determined on like, if you've had 2 bad races, then you're at the back of the field kind of thing. Like, I think point system all the way down is just logical. I don't know why we don't do it.
No, neither. Okay. Yeah. So that was my question. Do you know why they currently stop at 10? Is there any reason to not?
Nah. They used to only give the top 8, like in the sprint, it's only the top 8. Back in the day, it just used to be, and we would have like 24 to 30 cars on the grid, and there would be 8 points finishing positions. Okay. It was ludicrous.
So the only real con is it just means like that at the moment, like finishing in the points is like a big thing. Yeah. Like if you finish in the points, it's sort of something to be proud of. It means you've driven well. Yeah. Like getting 1 point is exciting.
But then I'm almost like, why don't you just make the top 10 or the top 8 points positions? Like the last one is I don't know, 15 points. Yeah. And then the jump from 10th to 11th is like, like 4 or 5 points or something. Because then there is still a benefit to getting in the top 10. There's just not like, it's just not, but then finishing in the bottom, like if you're Kevin Magnussen or Danny Rick, for example, like Danny Rick could have finished the race, picked up a single point for finishing last. He wouldn't have even been last. He would have been 18th? Because there was a couple of cars that retired before him. So like he could have still driven at the back of the grid and picked up a point or 2.
Yeah, true.
Like you would promote that. You would promote people finishing races instead of just going, we're out the points. Like Fernando in the sprint race retired his car after that puncture with 2 laps to go, just because he was like, I was never going to get back to the top 8.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, if you just finish, like it means people at the track can at least see more cars going around the track. Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah. Hopefully the FIA see this and then they just,
I'm sure they follow
Yeah,
us.
of course.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got 1,400 followers now. They're definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Right, Skin, let's move on to meme of the week. I've got a little bit of a different one for you this week. The meme isn't one specific photo or meme that I've found. It's an entire Instagram page. Have you heard, I can't remember what the film is going to be called, but have you heard of the Formula One fiction film that is coming out starring Brad Pitt?
No.
So they have been filming this for a few years now. I think the actor-writer strike thing in Hollywood delayed it last year.
Okay.
They've created a team called Apex F1 Racing. They've got a legitimate car that races around the track. And they've had specific days where they've been allowed to join a free practice session and race their car, not timed or anything, just to purely get external camera shots, internal camera shots. And then they're doing like private track days and things like that, where they are testing out their car and things like that. They have an F1 page that is dedicated to the Apex GP. It's called Apex GP F1, APX GP F1, no spaces. It's got just less than 3,000 followers. Whoever is running this is a fucking genius because they are photoshopping their car into the current races, and they are even posting what their drivers' race results are.
What?
And like, none of this is real. Like they were not at China, and yet they have shots crossing the finish line in China. They've got shots like with the Haas car behind them in China.
What the heck is happening?
It is the most insane photoshopping I've ever seen, but also such dedication to be posting every race weekend. Like,
wow,
here's a shot of them overtaking Lewis Hamilton. Like, there's just so much happening.
Yeah.
So this entire page, if you've not seen it yet, go and check it out. This is my favorite meme ever. And then like they've got photos of the, like, these are the 2 drivers for the team. They're the overalls they wear and everything like that.
Is that literally a photo of Brad Pitt?
That's literally Brad Pitt, yeah.
Okay, yeah, right.
So that
makes sense.
Yeah, so like last year we would see them at random races where these 2 would just line up for the national anthems and stuff.
Really?
Because they would have their film crews there filming during the race weekend. So they would just like be stood with the rest of the drivers and like chatting to the actual drivers, but it would be part of the scene of the film or the series or whatever it is that's coming out.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's unreal.
That is so bizarre.
Yeah.
Okay,
so I urge everyone to go and check this out because it's amazing.
Do you have any idea when this is coming out?
No clue.
All right. Sick.
Yeah.
Well, keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, that'll be bang on. Obviously, we'll talk about it on the pod. Get all of our millions of followers at that point around it. You know what I'm saying, Skin?
Sure. Yeah, I guess they need our help promoting the movie. Yes.
Yeah. 100, I mean, they've only got 3,000 followers, so we're not far behind them.
They also have Brad Pitt.
Yeah, but Brad Pitt.
Do you reckon they might go to him before us?
Do you reckon Brad Pitt's still relevant? I reckon we're going to surpass Brad Pitt soon.
Yeah, okay.
Well, that wraps up another lap at the Formula Fools podcast. We hope you've enjoyed the ride as much as we did. Now it's your turn to join in with the Fools family by connecting with us on socials. Facebook is at Formula Fools. Everything else, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Formula_Fools. I don't know why I promote the Twitter. I think I've posted one thing on there. So go disc.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, can't hurt. You can also give us a hand by leaving a rating or review wherever you listen. Apple, Spotify, reviews on Apple. We'll happily read them out occasionally. I think we did one last week, so I'm not going again.
No.
But the ratings really help a great deal, getting up the charts and things like that. So that'd be appreciated.
Hang on. If you're on Spotify as well, something I just found out this week, Lee taught it me, you can ask questions. So on each pod, I'm going to ask a little question and then people respond to it, and then we might read some of them out, or we might do a little question bit. So if you want to learn anything about F1, leave it there.
All right. I like it.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for joining us at Formula Fools, where every turn is a chance for a good laugh. Chad hard at work. We'll see you next time.